Sir, Balaji sir. Sir, good afternoon, sir. Balaji sir.
Good afternoon. Can you hear?
Yeah. Now I came into online because there is some distance from my home to this place.
Okay, no problem.
Oh, so we can start now. No problem, sir. Sir.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.
Good afternoon to one and all. I am Ms. Ashwini, Assistant Professor of Chemistry. Welcome to you all to this national webinar on free online tools useful for effective chemistry lecturing, organized by Department of Chemistry from St. Vincent Degree and PG College, Eluru. For this webinar, today we have two special guest speakers. The first instant, I would like to extend my warm greetings to Dr. B.S. Balaji Garu, Associate Professor in Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. And also my greetings to Dr. B. Jaganmohan Reddy Garu, Assistant Professor, Head of the Chemistry Department and Executive Council Member of Adikavi Nannaya University, Rajahmundry. And I would also like to extend my greetings to all the participants who are attending this webinar. At this moment, I take it my privilege to share few words with you all. This webinar organized by Department of Chemistry. Now, if you see the topic of the webinar, visual media tools. In general, chemistry laboratory provides a positive contribution to students' behavior and skills, improve the students' learning approach to chemistry laboratory courses, and increase their interest in visual media tools. The students also will show positive approach to the use of such tools. And online education is preferred by persons who may not be able to make it for classes in a traditional brick and modern kind of college due to various reasons. Online education also provides students with a chance to network with peers across the nation or even different continents. This often leads to other opportunities in terms of collaboration with persons in the implementation of a project. Students in the traditional classrooms may not get attention They need to have concept clarified. As a growing number of countries are resorting to schools and university closures, there are some online tools that educators and students can use to teach and learn virtually. Online learning allows us to deliver content or information in ways that leads to better learning than through a one-on-nature course.
అంటే మళ్ళీ సబ్జెక్ట్
Online
చూడగానే అందులో ఎలా చేయాలి ఏంటి అని
promoting
చెప్తారా
and
అనేది
opens up education to a large section of the population than ever before.
మళ్ళీ పోయింది. నాట్ ఆడిబుల్ అని వచ్చింది. ఎవడో మెసేజ్ వచ్చాడు నాట్ ఆడిబుల్.
Team members. Now I would like to invite Father Matthew, Principal of the college, please addressing the today participants. Over to Father.
మ్యూట్ లో పెట్టాను, అన్మ్యూట్ అది.
Good afternoon to one and all. And today we are very happy to present a new topic with regard to the Department of Chemistry. And I would say that it's an effective topic which was selected by the Department of Chemistry of St. Vincent de Paul UG and PG College, Eluru. Today we are going to discuss the main topic on free online tools that are useful for effective chemistry lecturing. And you know that science is a subject that is more learned in the laboratory, and we need both experiments in addition to the theoretical classes. But today, in the present scenario, we are all compelled, we are all forced to have a different pedagogy of teaching. That may be online system of teaching, online pedagogical method. So you know that we are all forced to select a different method of teaching, you know that, but science, it is very difficult. Unlike art subject, science, it is very difficult to have teaching or pedagogical method without experimental or laboratory. So today on this pandemic situation, maybe in the light of this corona, we have to select a new method, different from our traditional way of class lecturing, maybe labs lecturing. So we have selected a new theme, maybe which are very useful to the lecturers, maybe the online tools that are effective, that help us to teach an effective learning in the field of chemistry. And you know, there is a proverb, but what is the proverb in English language? Necessity is the mother of invention. I would say once more, let me repeat once more. Necessity is the mother of invention. So today, in the present situation, the present world, we are all forced to invent another alternative method of lecturing. That is online, using the online tools, online application for effective learning, especially the science subjects, which are very difficult to teach without a direct contact. So I would say that this is a relevant topic for all the lecturers who are participating in this seminar, in this webinar. It is a relevant topic in the present context or present arena. So we have two eminent speakers today. I am very happy to introduce our two eminent speakers, Dr. Jagan Mohan Reddy Garu, Assistant Professor of Adikavi Nannaya University and HOD of Chemistry Department. Also Dr. B.S. Balaji, also he is an Associate Professor of Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. So I would say I would say both these speakers are very expert in that area, and I would say they will give us a wide area of explanation about the free online tools which are very effective for us in the area of lecturing, especially science lecturing, especially chemistry lecturing. So I wish all of them very best and a good time in this afternoon session to get updated with good updated with the online tools that are very helpful for us to lecture chemistry classes. So helping all of you, and especially I remember the chemistry faculty departments, HOD of DePaul College, thanking and welcome each one of you. Let me remain. Thank you very much, and all the very best to all the participants and people who are present here. Thank you.
Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father, your guidance and supporting to us. Now I will hand over to Mr. Praveen, Assistant Professor and Head of the Chemistry Department, to continue this program. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, madam. Good afternoon to one and all. I take this opportunity as my privilege. Before entering into the session, I request Mr. B. Ramesh, Assistant Professor in Chemistry, to introduce our first speaker, Dr. B. Jagan Mohan Reddy garu. Over to Ramesh.
Good afternoon to one and all. This is a great opportunity to me. I am glad and I feel honored to introduce Dr. B. Jagan Mohan Reddy garu. Dr. B. Jagan Mohan Reddy garu is currently working as an assistant professor, head department of chemistry, and executive council member, chief warden of Adikavi Nannaya University, Rajamahendravaram. And his educational qualifications is, and he completed his post graduation from Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati in the year 1996, and he finished his MPhil from Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati in the year 2001, and a PhD degree was awarded to him in the year 2005 from Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupati, and postdoctoral research experience at Pohang University of Science and Technology, South Korea in the year 2007, and teaching experience, 15 years teaching experience in UG and PG, and memberships of professional bodies. He is a life member of Indian Science Congress, Calcutta, and a life member of Association of Chemistry Teachers, Mumbai. Under his research guidance, number of PhDs awarded are 7, 2 PhD full-time students are working at present. And his publications, total number of publications are 52, international 46 and national 6. Number of books published is 3. National conference organized is 2. National seminars organized is 3. And he's got lot of awards on that one. He achieved IUPAC 2011 Young Scientist Award and achieved IUPAC 2011 Young Observer Award, Best Teacher Award 2019 by AP State Government, INSA Visiting Scientist Award 2020. Now I request our special guest, Dr. B. Jagan Mohan Reddy garu, kindly proceed with your presentation. I welcome you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, Ramesh, for a nice introduction about me. Now, coming to the point of today's program of this. So it is now you are visible. This screen. Are you able to see my?
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Yeah. Your screen is right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first of all, I congratulate father of this DePaul St. Paul's College, Elur, and especially the Department of Chemistry, HOD, Praveen, and Ramesh, and other team members of Department of Chemistry. First of all, Praveen contacted me. First, he has so he called me to arrange these kind of lecture, especially from the Department of Chemistry of DePaul's College. So I congratulate. I congratulate. Someone is making disturbance. I think better to mute. I request all participants make it as mute. So it will be an interruption to the voice. So first of all, I congratulate the Department of Chemistry of DePaul's College for their initiation, especially in this pandemic corona situation. So they came forward to take a part of this kind of program, especially which is useful to our students. Then I have contacted the today's speaker, actually, Dr. Balaji Garu from Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. He accepted our request to deliver his free online tools effective, especially for chemistry lecturing. So in this context, first I will go through the basic idea about this online tools and what is the importance of this online lecture, and by taking one or two tools and how they are useful for our, especially for chemistry. And later on, our main speaker, Dr. Balaji Garu, will talk about the chemistry lecturing, how we can use effectively, especially for this chemistry. So if you see, always the chemistry, chemistry is, we can say that we can call it as a study guide. It is we can call it as a skills guide. And chemistry, if you take that virtual, whatever you have, that virtual lab. Virtual labs. So chemistry, it takes a lot of structures. We have whatever the stereochemistry, whatever the laboratory experiments, how can we do, and everything. We can go through these kind of online teaching, so that the student may get an idea in order to get nowadays the situation as your college father said that necessity automatically, whatever the need we have, automatically we will turn towards that need. As per that need, we should be updated as per the requirement, as per the needs. So that's why today we are going to this online lectures. So this whatever we have that so this is nothing but we can say that what we can call it as so emerging, which we can call it as it is a new pedagogy technique and emerging and online learning. So it's a lot of kind of things we can say that. We can also say that open education is a link to research, and whatever you have, they say that intelligence, knowledge, and it's one kind of coaching, all these things. So you can remember so how it will be. So it's nothing but new pedagogy, and it's an emerging technique, and we can say that nowadays it is highly essential. And you remember that always it is important to acknowledge that students are already interested and engaged in using this technology. See, this type of technology creates amazing opportunities, what not, everything. So if student is having some interest, really, if they are very much interested towards this online teaching, so the more opportunities we have, especially for colleges and teachers to be benefited from integrating some forms of technology. So how you can integrating the technology is very important in the classroom and to make the teaching and learning more effective. So as you know that in the offline system, we're using Blackboard. This is one kind of technique. So now what we are using, but now the situation because of this pandemic situation, COVID-19, so we are always we are turning towards this kind of online teaching. That's why there are amazing opportunities, especially for the students. So you should remember that integrate it in the form of technology. How can you link with the upcoming technology, whatever we have? So that is a very important thing. One should remember that e-learning, this e-learning concept is a beautiful technique which you can if you see a lot of information you will get in the Google itself. If you go through the Google, the lot of tools are there. So how many tools you are using, and how can, if you see that suppose if you want to draw a structure, say for example cholesterol, say morphine, reserpine, whatever you have, the structure of a natural product, there is a software called ChemDraw Ultra, ISAS Draw, and ChemBioSketch. So with this, you can nicely draw the structure, and by selecting the structure, you can also go through the NMR, tentative NMR peaks, even proton NMR as well as C13 NMR. Also, you can go through it. So there is a possibility of the learning the things through the online. There are some kind of free you can download it from Google. So some trial based free online software is there, especially for this chemistry draw. How can you draw the structure? That's why this online is having a lot of benefits, especially if you go through the Google and you can go to that those websites, you may get a lot of knowledge. Only the thing is, so our interest, how can you go through this? Our e-Pathshala is there, and whatever the tool you use, that is the very important thing. You concentrate it a few minutes so that you may get an idea. So another point is it improves engagement. When technology is integrated into lessons, students are expected to be more interested. See, so whenever a student, right, so this integration takes place automatically, so they are expected to be more interested in the subjects what they are studying. So that is the main important thing. So how can a student is engaged? Technology provides opportunities to make learning more fun also sometimes and enjoyable in terms of teaching same things in new ways. So these are the newer methods what we are saying that online teaching. So this improves this kind of engagement will make a real fun and enjoyable. So especially in terms of teaching in so many ways, whatever we have. And for instance, if you take that delivering teaching through gamification, that means competition with the others, taking students on virtual field trips, and using other online learning resources. So there are so many learning resources. I will go through it one or two, then you will get an idea. Technology can encourage a more active participation in the learning process, which can be hard to achieve through a traditional lecture environment. So that's the thing one should remember. Always technology encourages so more active participation. That means so how you are listening and how you make the notes. I mean, it is a continuous learning process. And even though there is some problem with the online, but it is a continuous learning process which can be hard, right, to achieve through a traditional lecture environment. And the traditional lecture environment is different from the online lecture environment. So there is a difference between these two. So more advantage is there. And another thing one should remember that it improves knowledge retention. Technology can help to encourage active participation in the classroom, which also is a very important factor for increased knowledge retention. See, technology always so helps us to encourage active participation in the classroom, so that student may get this kind of factor, which increases the knowledge retention. That is the very important point. And another thing is it encourages individual learning also. So technology provides us great opportunities for making learning more effective for everyone with different needs, whatever they need. So a person need is this, and another person is need is other thing. So that's why everyone has their needs in a different way. So that's why this technology is providing us a great opportunity for making for learning more effective for everyone, whatever, whoever, as per their needs. For example, students can learn on their own speed. Sometimes one person is having some kind of mindset, and another person is so that's why at their own speed and review difficult concepts, or sometimes or skip ahead if they need to. So as per you can adapt whatever whatever the situation you have. So that is the beauty in this online. And another thing is documentation. So all the information that you will need will be safely stored. So storing of this, we can say that a database. So in an online mode, the beauty is that documentation will be there. This includes things like live discussion documents. Suppose if we conduct some discussion, that will be recorded in YouTube. So we can store it in the form of YouTube recordings. So live discussion documents, we can say, and training materials, and sometimes emails also. So this means that if there is everything that needs to be clarified, the student will be able to access these documents fast and saving valuable time. So that the important thing is time is more valuable. So everybody can sit at their home or wherever is convenient. You can sit and you can go through this online. So whatever the doubt he is having, you can raise and you can go through the this kind of online system. This is especially useful for individuals that need to carry out research for a project and submit their findings to a panel also. So nowadays, you see, the Viva examination is also going through the online system, and you can carry out this research, whatever the project, or even summer research projects. Also now they are making and writing a review articles with a professor or wherever you apply. So all these kind of things, this is especially useful for individuals, so that to carry out their research for a project and submit their findings to a professor or some kind of panel or some board, interview board. So whatever that this online teaching is having this kind of advantage. And coming to another point, access to expertise. Access to expertise means an online college education might give students access to specialized degree courses that may not be available in an easily accessible or local institution of learning. So see, some kind of degree colleges, so which is not possible there, but this online access can provide as per their needs. Even though they are at home, they can earn the things as per the specialized degree. Say, for example, if they want to do some aquaculture, especially some degree, PG diploma certificate in aquaculture, they may go through this online, especially specialized courses, so, which is access to expertise, so that expertise as per the need of the student, you can go through the expertise. That's a very beautiful thing of online. And online classes allow the sharing of expertise that help more people have access to education. So number of people, the same speaker maybe, so you can deliver all over the world. You can say that geographical, readily available certain geographical locations, wherever you see it, and whether it is abroad or India or whatever but only the thing is internet. So you should have. So that's why that is online classes allow the sharing of expertise. So the sharing of knowledge that helps more people have access to education that is not readily available in certain geographical locations. So that is a very important thing. One should remember that access to expertise. And another point, networking opportunities. So this online education also provides students with the chance to network with peers across the nation. Say for example, so if we have a chance to discuss with some expertise, what to work in your field, some organic synthesis. So suppose if you are going to synthesize some indole mighty, or we can say oxindole mighty, the alkylamine, so asymmetric synthesis and analogous reactions of some to the say for example, for example, I'm saying that analogous reactions of three alkylamine oxindoles. So if you want to set the literature, or if you want to get some idea, so you can check to the online. There are so many methods. You can go to the article and you can do email, and then you get an idea. And by email, you can contact them. Online education for students with a chance to sometimes with the PhD students or some PhD students who are working at IITs or IISs with peers across the nation with their same age group. You can mingle with them, you can discuss with them with peers across, or even different continents also, even if Japan or some Germany or what, so all over the world also. So that's why online education also provides students with the chance to work with the peer groups, same age group across the nation. That's the thing one should remember, or even, as I said, different continents also. This often leads to the opportunities in terms of collaboration with other individuals in the implementation of a project. So that is the beauty of another thing, that networking opportunities. So leads to the other whatever opportunity in terms of collaboration with other individuals, so that the implementation of a project. So that is the beauty of this online teaching. And coming to the another point of that benefit of teachers. That means in the angle of teachers, so with the countless online resources, there are so many sources are there where nowadays we are using this generally now we are using Zoom, but Zoom is not the help of the government. So that's the thing they don't use. But so there are countless online resources we have. So technology can help improve teaching. So if you have interest, so you can go through it. I will give one or two examples so that you will get an idea. So teachers can use different apps or trusted online resources. And by entering trusted means, so some apps they are not they are not. You can say that we cannot trust them. That's the problem is that online resources to enhance the traditional ways of teaching and to keep students more engaged. So to engage the students, one should remember that as a teacher, so there are online sources, more number of online resources. This technology can help improve teaching, and virtual lesson plans, grading software, and online assessments can help teachers save a lot of time. That is the virtual lesson plans. You can go through it. That is the in the case of teachers. That is another benefit, and another one, reduced cost. This reduced cost is online education can cost less due to a variety of reasons. See, so so you are sitting at home and you are not going to the college or university, and that's why you are saving fuel, right? So there is no cost, right? Commuting. So asserted costs that are related to transport, such as the fuel, parking, car maintenance. And if you go to abroad, people are going to car, and in India, then we are going through so many public transport, whatever our own vehicle. And see, it does not affect the online student. You can sit at the home and you can go through it. That is the another beauty of this online education. We can say that reduced cost. So there are so many open educational resources are there. If you go through the internet, you'll get a lot of idea. So you will get even in Harvard University, they are giving a very good videos, especially for chemistry, in all reaction mechanism. They're giving PowerPoints, PDFs, whatever you have. And another one is there, chemistry teacher is there. So whatever you have, if you go through it, even ball and stick models also, you can go to molecular. So if you go through the internet, you will get to see how you can understand regarding this, whatever ethane, methane, and ball and stick models, hexane, cyclohexane. How can you get an idea? So there are so many open educational resources are there. So you can, if you can utilize it, automatically you will get a lot of idea. Even even it may pain you in the initial stage, but if you slowly adapt towards the online system, then you may get idea, so that you may get educated and you may get confident. And coming to the point, another one, Google Duo. Uh, this is a simple online tool which we can use simply with our cell phone. Also, we can that students can cut costs on their calling, right? With Google Duo, which is a very good tool. Google Duo is a more seamless and simplistic version of FaceTime and Skype, whereby users can video rank for people in their contacts via high definition and smooth video. One of the greatest digital tools for university students. It's a simple system we can use. So it's a small number of groups, you can some minimum number of groups you can use Google Duo. And what another one is Zoom for online learning. As now this we are using this Zoom for this webinar actually, so which is not suggestible. The government of India already suggested that don't use Zoom. There is a GoTo meeting is there. GoTo meeting you can conduct, even though some sort of disturbance wherever we have, but you can overcome by using the technology. And how can we stop all the things? You can do it. Zoom is also one of the things. And third one, what I want to tell is, this is a very good one, which so many people are using with Microsoft Teams on Office 365. This is a sophisticated office tool available today. So I request you all, after if anybody wants to go through this, I will give that link also, so that if you go through it, you'll get it. Because the beauty of this Microsoft Teams is that you can view the same Word document, Excel, spreadsheet, or presentation, or one Note document as you communicate around the content. After finishing the class also, that will be stored as a database there, and only the thing is student and teacher is having only that access. So no one knows about those things. So only student, they will give a password, and so you can, whoever the college or university, and they will arrange this kind of thing to a student and teacher. And after, suppose if you are not able to attend for that class, online class, after that, so you go through your whatever that ID and user ID and password, go through it, and everything is there in the database. You can go through that videos, and you may get an idea. So that is the beauty of this Microsoft Teams and Office 365. Is a beautiful tool, especially for the whatever the our chemistry teaching all, so you can use. And I want to tell before closing my lecture that free online courses by Swayam. This is a Swayam course by central government of India. So now in the next session, our speaker, Dr. Balaji Garu, will talk about this Swayam, which is a very, 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 very good tool, especially for the free, right? Especially for the benefit of students. MHRD has planned this Swayam. So students should must and should know, those who are participating in this webinar. Some of you may know all this, but you should get knowledge. You should get understanding by knowing this Swayam portal, how to register in it, how to make a user ID and password. And Dr. Balaji sir is giving is going to actually talk about this Swayam portal. And sir is already said with me to encourage number of students and faculty members. All faculty are students. Even myself also registered in that that Swayam. Sir is already that some 2 months or 2.5 months of program has already designed, and that will be started from 20th of July. And sir will discuss in detail about that one. See, after attending that kind of program of Swayam, and you will get an online certificate, but approved by the central government of India, which is more useful. Suppose if you want to if you want to attend for the course, if you want to attend for the test, you attend it and you may get certificate. And there is a so there is a some questions, some more mode of test is there. So online test only. Some questions are there. You have to answer it. Then if you answer it, then automatically you will get the certificate by online with your photograph. So that is the see how you can get, means this is the way that Swayam online course certification with your photograph you will get, which is more useful those who are going through the research or those who are going through the teaching. That may give add-on value to your career, and it may give some marks to your whatever the thing. So that's why one should remember that uh, entering into the online education is nothing but it is a very, very, very good system in order to increase whatever the enthusiasm, in order to update ourselves through the online system, so that you may get a lot of knowledge, and whatever the tool you are going to use, whether if it is a chemistry software or that ChemDraw Ultra or ChemBioSketch, ISAS Draw, and whatever the tool you use, uh, the important thing is how you adopt the system, adopt the things as per the situation. That's why finally, before conclusion, and Balaji sir will take much time and he will explain the things. With this final slide, I will close my lecture. The thing is, the future of online degree education looks promising and opens up education to a larger section of the population than ever before. So that's the thing. You remember that the future is online degree education is promising. Now the situation is now COVID-19 Corona situation is there. That's why all people are sitting at the computer or whatever they have, laptop or phone, whatever the available tool that system they have. So they are sitting and learning the things, and they are going through the online only. And the government also saying about this online system only. That's why the future of online degree education looks promising and opens up education to a larger section of the population than ever before. So with this, I'm closing my lecture. Thank you, Praveen and Father Garu from DePaul's College for inviting me to deliver a talk about this online free tools, especially for chemistry. So next speaker, Balaji Garu, will talk more about this chemistry lecturing, how we can turn towards the chemistry lecturing. Thank you. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, sir, for our wonderful presentation. It was very informative and interesting presentation, sir. Next, we go to the question and answer session. Dear participants, if you have any question, please put your question in the chat box. Dear participants, if you have any question, please put your question in the chat box. Sir, there is a question, sir. Can I tell that, sir?
Yeah, please.
Sir, question from Anand Sai. Question is like that, sir.
Yeah.
In current scenario.
That is in the chat box?
Yes, sir.
I will check it. Okay, you tell it. You read out, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In current scenario, how much it is viable that students from remote areas can get benefit of online teaching? Question is like that, sir.
So, Anand, hello.
Hello.
Am I audible? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, Anand Sai Garu, very good question you have posed. The thing is now, actually, there are head and tail as per the for a coin. There is head and tail is there. Always there is a positive things and some negative things are there. As you as per your question, yes, there is a problem with remote areas, especially rural areas, in the sense far away, especially in east and west Godavari. If you take some Razulu or whatever we have that that Chintalapudi wherever you go. Suppose if there is no question of internet, so that may be a problem actually. I can agree with you. The thing is, we have to encourage this online teaching, especially if we have internet facility. So that is the problem. I can agree with you. So everywhere there is some problems also there in online teaching, and even in online teaching, and some people may not listen, and they may put online, and they may put mute, and they may go somewhere. Yeah, I know it. Everywhere there is a problem in online teaching. So, but only the thing is, for strictly saying, and those who need knowledge, those who want to sit at the computer and to know the things in a systematic way, and to have a good interaction with peer groups all over the nation, not only out of the continent. You have to, but remote areas, that we have to think about it. If the internet is not there, that government should take more precautionary things in order to give internet facility, especially to the remote areas. So that's a policy making making problem, and government should take some kind of precautionary measures in order to in order to arrange these kind of internet facility to reach the rural people especially. So that's my opinion. That's my answer regarding this question.
Thank you, sir, for your nice clarification. Another question, sir, from Santosh.
Okay.
Sir, is there any virtual labs designed for chemistry?
Yeah. There are virtual labs for especially for the chemistry. Now, next speaker, Dr. Balaji Garu, will discuss in detail, because I have taken because I am not in. So we have discussed it both together. So I have taken only the first part of this online education. Sir will discuss. Dr. Balaji sir will discuss with you in detail of this virtual. So I am at the first part, and the detailed part Dr. Balaji sir will give. So because sir will speak more about this chemistry lecturing by virtual labs.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for our wonderful presentation. Dear participants, due to the lack of time, we are ending the question and answer session. Next, if you have any question, any doubts, you can contact Dr. B. Jagannath Reddy sir. You can provide sir's mail ID in the chat box. Now, we are moving on to the next session. Before that, I request Mr. H. Shankar Babu, Assistant Professor in Chemistry, to introduce our today's keynote speaker, Dr. B.S. Balaji sir.
Thank you, Praveen sir. Thank you, Praveen sir. Good afternoon, one and all. I am proud to introduce today our guest speaker, Dr. B.S. Balaji Garu. Dr. B.S. Balaji sir currently works as an associate professor at the School of Biotechnology, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Educational qualifications are MSc, PhD, and MBA. Balaji sir finished his PhD from National Chemical Laboratory, Pune, awarded by University of Pune, India, in organic chemistry specialization. Dr. Balaji sir published 16 international publications and gave 20 international and 2 national conference presentations. Dr. Balaji sir awarded in research as Junior Research Fellowship, Senior Research Fellowship, and Research Associate, also awarded by sponsoring agency Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, New Delhi, India, and awarded COE Postdoctoral Fellowship and COE Foreign Visiting Researcher from Hokkaido University, Japan, and Research Fellowship awarded by NIH ICMIC P50 Grant USA. Dr. Balaji sir took some administrative responsibilities also, such as Engineering Chemistry Coordinator, Faculty Development Program Coordinator in 2014 to 2015, NAC Assessor Committee Member in 2014. Dr. Balaji sir take up some professional responsibilities like resource person in UGC FDP, UGC orientation program MHRD, subject matter expert in interview panel, Korean fellowship program MHRD, editor in International Journal of Life Sciences, reviewer and professional affiliations member also. Dr. B.S. Balaji sir, research fields and current interests are homogeneous platinum, palladium, rhodium, and heterogeneous zeolite catalysis, solid phase peptide chemistry, dendrimers, metallodendrimers, gene targeting using radiopharmaceuticals, nanoparticles, transesterification, diazo reactions, carbene reactions, oxidative addition reactions. Dr. B.S. Balaji sir got patents also on his research items like Balaji B.S. Chanda BMA process for the preparation of an improved rhodium catalyst, Indian patent IN 1969998-2008. Now, I request to Dr. B.S. Balaji Garu, please kindly proceed for your presentation, sir. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Over to Dr. Balaji, sir.
Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir. You are audible,
Oh,
sir.
okay, thank you so much. Thank you for a nice introduction. And okay, actually, my video cannot come because there is some issue with online thing, but I will simply share the screen and we can go with.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay, sure. Okay, can you see this?
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay. Today I'll be talking a lot about free online tools useful for effective chemistry lecturing. And as Jagan Mohan Reddy sir had told many things in the beginning, so he actually reduced my work of explaining many things. I'll be simply going through a few details like what are the important aspects we have to keep in mind when we are creating online lectures. Is the entire screen visible, or there are some other things are also visible along with that?
Entire screen is.
That's perfectly fine. So, can you read this tribute to a? Let me see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Tribute to the great ancient organic chemist.
Chemist, exactly. So this is how we are actually going to start our lecture.
Sure, sir.
This is no one else than Jesus Christ.
Yes, sir.
You will be wondering how he is an organic chemist, that too an ancient chemist. So basically, the wedding party at Cana, everyone is aware of. So this is where he started off the organic chemistry work. Basically, he converted water into wine. An inorganic compound water is converted into an organic compound wine. So this is how the organic chemistry started, and he was the first person to do it. So this is where those who are reading Bible will be familiar with these statements. I don't want to go into detail. And for those people who want to know what is present in wine, these are all some of the ingredients. So some of the ingredients present in wine are given here. So this is where the organic chemistry part ends. I will just briefly give over some of the important online things we have been doing so far. So this is our first course here. If you read launch of online bioorganic chemistry course under JNU. So we were the first people to start our online course at JNU, and this is our Vice Chancellor Mamidala Jagdish Kumar, and he was inaugurating the function. And this is me sitting and explaining how the online courses were launched in JNU. This is in 2018. We did it on the next day of our Teachers' Day. So some of the media coverage is shown here, like JNU faculty members to offer online courses. Covered, our online course offering was covered in the news media also. Then I regularly write articles about online teaching and other things. So here you can see this article appeared in Deccan Herald, and this article appeared in the Hindu under e-learning principles. Here I wrote about what is SWAYAM and what are the different online courses available. And I also talked about the much discussed about the open book examination. That is, this article I wrote in the Hindu, explaining the need for how to conduct an open book examination. So I can share these papers if someone is interested to read about. And as Jagannath Reddy sir had told, this is our course which we were offering in the SWAYAM portal. So in 2019, we started this offering of MSc chemistry course. This is mainly for the first year students, and of course, PhD students can also register, faculty members also can register. In the first offering, we had around 3,591, that is close to 3,600 postgraduate level students that registered for the course. This is one of the top rated course in the SWAYAM portal for the organic chemistry. And because of this popularity, we again offered it in January 2020. At that time, we had around 3,220 students or participants enrolled. The major improvement from the July to the January one is in the July 2019, there were around 250 faculty members who had registered for the course. And because of the popularity in the Jan 2020, we had around 600 faculty members who had registered for the course. So this course is becoming more popular even among the faculty members, because here I have actually elaborately discussed the many subjects, basically starting from the carbanion, carbocations, reaction intermediates, aromatic chemistry, and the basic reaction mechanism, Hammond postulates, like many things had been covered in this particular paper. And mainly those who are interested in appearing for UGC NET examination, IIT JAM examination, those kind of advanced level examinations, we have covered a lot of topics which are common in this one. So in our organic chemistry course, we have actually introduced a couple of important innovative ideas. One is augmented reality software we have actually used for visualizing organic chemistry, because everyone knows, like if you are going to study about organic chemistry, stereochemistry is the most crucial and important part. And if you cannot visualize the molecules in 3 dimensions, you cannot study about organic chemistry. So to help the students understand how to view the molecules in 3 dimensions, we have introduced augmented reality software, so that the student can, in their phone or even in their laptop, they can actually rotate the molecule directly to see how the molecules are actually projected. And we also introduced crossword puzzle, which is a fun part for the students to solve the crossword puzzles, because in the crossword puzzle, you have to write or find the exact answers. That only can help you solve or get the marks completely. So this is little bit different from the filling the blanks. So that is the reason it was most popular among students and everybody liked it. So this had appeared in Times of India about our course. And then recently I have written about this COVID-19 outbreak. Its impact on learning, is it transient or transformational? So this had appeared in Education Times. So here I have discussed about some of the pros and cons of online learning, how we can do or why we have to do. So those kind of details I have covered. There are plenty of stakeholders, like students are there, administration is involved, faculties are involved, and IT support is involved. So how all these people are affected by this COVID-19 and how everyone can contribute to the better online courses. So those things I wrote in the Education Times. And recently, CEC, that is the Consortium of Educational Communication, had published my paper on best practices for online lectures creation during lockdown. So this article is also available. If someone is interested, I can share this article. So by reading all these articles, you will get to know how to create online courses very effectively and efficiently with the minimum amount of effort. And side by side in chemistry part, we have actually developed a Braille model to teach chemistry to school children. Basically, the blind and the low vision students are having difficulty in learning chemistry. So in order to help those kind of visually challenged students, we have incorporated Braille into chemistry models, so that it is a lock and key model we have developed, and we have actually the design, and we also have made the copyright for this one. So this is covered by Indian Express, Business Standard, Outlook, and many other places. even NDTV.
அது அப்படி இருந்த ஒரு பிரச்சனை இல்லை. எதையா தொட்டா அப்படிதான் வரும். சரி சவுண்ட் தான் கூட்டணும்.
ரிக்வெஸ்ட் திலகவதி, நீங்க வந்து மியூட் பண்ணிட்டு இது பண்ணுங்க, பிகாஸ் உங்களுடைய பேஜ் வந்து இங்க டிஸ்டர்பன்ஸா இருக்கு. ப்ளீஸ் மியூட் யுவர் மைக்ரோஃபோன். So here you can see some of the media coverage about our online, especially for the Braille for the students to learn chemistry. So this is also covered in Raj Sabha TV. So anyone if is interested in knowing more about that, I am always willing to share the information. Let us now move on to some of the advantages of online courses. So why we have to go online? There are many reasons given here. You can read it very peacefully. I will just go through some of the points only. It is convenient, flexible, cost effective, and it is unrestricted. That means it is available 24/7. Because if you are teaching in a class in a regular mode, you are available only from 9 to 5. And that too, if your lecture is from 10 to 11, you are available only from 10 to 11 to the students. But when you are teaching online, your course is always 24/7 available to students for them to learn. So that is the reason this is a better method. And you can also immediately update if you have some good information you want to share with the students. You can actually do that very quickly. And students can watch it again and again, so that there is a better knowledge retention during that. And you can also use many multimedia tools like video, audio, animations, etc., so that many concepts can be taught very easily. And of course, the best advantage for the students is they can learn at their own pace, anywhere, anytime. So sitting inside the house, very well learn. They don't have to even get out of the house to learn some of the things. So these are the various advantages of having online course. But everything has, as Jagan Reddy sir said, the coin has two sides. One is the positive side, another is the negative side. So there are some limitations for this also. So it actually puts a lot of strain on the teacher to create an online course. And of course, spending too much time in front of the computer screen may be harmful to the students' eye. And it is a very stressful job. Say, for example, if some 5 teachers are teaching their courses, and for every course, the student has to work at least 1 to 2 hours per day. So that means 5 into 2, 10 hours. So minimum 10 hours per day, he has to work a lot. That is equivalent to working a lot. So we have to be a little bit careful in how much of the information we are giving to the students. And to learn the online course, the students should be basically self-disciplined, and they have to have a self-motivation. These are all the 2 important traits which is required. And of course, they also need to know the time management skill, because nobody is going to tell you that your assignment is due or your evaluation is due. So the student has to keep on keeping in mind that when is the due date for our assignments and other thing. If they miss, sometimes they lose the marks. So at least in the regular classroom, your friends will be telling like, okay, array, tomorrow we are having this exam, tomorrow we are having that quiz. So you are regularly updated. But when you are on online mode, I mean, it's quite difficult. Unless somebody tells you, you may forget. So time management is very, very crucial for online lectures. And of course, when you are online, you don't know like what you are watching and what you are doing. So there is a completely lack of control. So if you are not self-disciplined, then you may be lost in the online lectures. So these are some of the limitations of online lectures. So I'll move on to the next one. So how do we actually create an online course? So I'll just give some brief steps, and from that we will move to the other things. So the first and foremost is the idea generation. So you can see the bulb lit up here. So this is the idea generation is the most crucial thing for creating online lectures. So this is the basic fundamental step. And once you have the idea, then you have to actually create your presentation. So this is nothing but lights, camera, and action. So like how the movie is shot, you have to switch on the light and then let the camera start rolling, and let the director say action. So the same way our creation of presentation has to follow some of these kind of steps. Like we have to be ready with the material what we are going to create. Then the next step is although we can create the videos, but how the students will read, because not everybody is conversant with watching videos for longer time. So to compensate that, we do need to give some of the reading materials in the form of notes or reading material. So that is the next how to do. Then I think there are lots of requests coming to me for admitting the people. So I have to all the time shift between the things. Can someone take care of that? Because it is unnecessarily disturbing my flow of lecture. So let me go to the idea generation part. So here we have to first start the material, collection of the material. It may be from the primary source or a secondary source. Primary sources are generally journal articles from where we can get the information. The secondary sources are basically books and review articles. And once you get the material, you do need to analyze the material, whether it is required for the students. And then you have to check accurate and authentic, because in the internet, there are plenty of information that is available, which is not peer reviewed. That's what we say. If it is not peer reviewed, anyone can write anything and it becomes the rule on the internet. So we may be getting some wrong information and we may be passing on the same wrong information to our students. So it is very essential from our side as a teacher to check the authenticity and accuracy of the information what we are getting from the net. Then once you have this for easy understanding for the students, we may have to create some keywords or terms and some important terms which help the students actually understand many things. And then once we have all this information, we have to put them together. Then the second step, creation of presentation, involves various steps. Don't worry about all these steps because you are already familiar with. If you are regularly taking the classes to your regular students, then you are already familiar with all these steps. Just putting them in a black and white format. That is the only thing. So don't get overwhelmed with so much information. Every day you know how to create lectures. So creation of presentation is nothing but given in simple steps. So basically we get the images and then highlight important points or concepts. Like I'm using here laser pointer. So this laser pointer actually helps you to direct to the words which I am actually wanting you to see. Say for example, I want you to see the highlighting the important concept. And when I use the laser pointer, I can use. So these are some of the things which we can make use of while you are delivering the lectures online. And when you have to put the information, just try to put the information in the sequential order so that it is easy from the easy form to moderate difficult to difficult form. If you take that lectures, then the students will not find it very difficult. Otherwise, if you put the difficult equations in the beginning and we go to the easy one and then it will be lost. After viewing 2 or 3 minutes, they understand, oh, this is a very difficult course. I am not going to attend to this course, and they will simply skip. So we should not put a difficult part in the beginning. So that is why we have to arrange them in a sequential order, which is easy for the student to follow. And while doing that, you will understand there are some concepts or some things are missing. So try to identify the missing elements and then fill the gap. And you generate the final presentation and move on. Then we have another important thing, which is the writing of the text. So this is the most time consuming and laborious part in the entire process. So creating lectures are not very difficult because you can create presentation much easier, but creating text, e-text content is the most difficult part. So you have to spend a little bit more time in creating that. And then if your course material includes any updated information, you do need to obtain copyright permission from the original maker. So what are the type of activities which teacher has to follow? I have just listed few of them. It doesn't mean that this is the only thing or these are all the 100% exclusive list. This is only a very small guidelines for you to follow. So the first one is, as we mentioned, creation of course material. So the creation of course material has two aspects. One is the academic requirement and another one is the technical requirements. So you do need to know what is academic requirement for creation of your course and what is the technical requirement. Then once you create the material, you simply share it with the students. So you can share by uploading it to a particular website, or you can email them, or you can WhatsApp them, or you can share it in your university's repository. So there are plenty of things that are possible, and which you really do that. And then, of course, this is a very difficult thing to carry out, because how do you monitor whether students are actively involved, or whether taking attendance, or whether they are submitting the assignments. So monitoring a course or how the students are learning is the most difficult part. And you have, as a teacher, you have to find out an innovative way how you can actually do it. Then we have interactions where the students ask the questions, and this is also called as a discussion forum. Here the peer discussion is possible. That means the student themselves can answer to some of the other friends questions, or the teacher also can actually answer the question. In our online courses, what we do is we have something called the teaching assistant. So the teaching assistants are generally appointed for a big courses. Say for example, in my course, I have 3,500 students, and imagine if even 4 students start asking every day. So that is going to be pretty large by the end of the course. So we actually take help from some of the teaching assistants who actually assist in the discussion forum. But if your class size is only 40 or 50 students, the teacher can easily handle it. And then we have the last part is the evaluation part. So you can give quiz, crossword puzzles, Google Forms. So there are various ways you can actually, I think Vail Pandey is asking a question. So what is the question? Hello, you can unmute and you can ask the question if you want. Okay, I didn't get, because the person had raised the hand, but there is no questions asked, so I am moving forward. So if we have to, hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
You can proceed, sir.
Okay, sure, no problem. So what are the different types of activities for online course, that is the Swayam platform? I'll just briefly give here. So this is very similar to the creation of course. That means we generally create video lectures in the beginning, and this is followed by a reading material, generation of e-text content. So we generally call this as a 4-quadrant approach. So creation of video lecture is called the first quadrant. Creation of reading material, that is the e-text, is called the second quadrant, and the interactions or the discussion forum is called the third quadrant, and the evaluation is called the fourth quadrant. So this is the 4-quadrant approach which we follow for the Swayam courses. So this is we are doing it on a regular basis. And of course, as I mentioned here, of course include various academic requirements. So these are all the things you will be following in your regular classroom services. So you will create a course handout which covers syllabus, books, learning outcomes, etc. is given to the students. And you can also, in the online lectures, what we generally do is we have a tentative weekly schedule. Like in your regular classroom, you have a schedule, like on which day your class is going to be. The same way here also we have a tentative schedule, which is similar to your regular one-to-one interaction. Here it is the video lectures which you are going to put on a website. It may be your YouTube channel, it can be, or it may be on your university's web server, or whichever way you feel convenient, you can share the information. So, but beforehand, you tell the students that you are going to share the weekly schedule, how you are going to release the material. Then what are the course expectations, that is the workload. So for example, you have 2 assignments in the first week and 2 in the fourth week. So you can tell the students beforehand, this is how we are going to go. So based on that, they can plan their work accordingly. And you can also give about how much is the internal and how much is the external assessment. This is very similar to how you do your regular course. So there is nothing out of the way or different for the online course. So you can actually go through that leisurely. And the technical requirements are the one which are different from your regular classroom activities. So here, to create a video, you do need a computer. So a personal computer or laptop is a must for that. You can use your university resources, or if you can buy a computer at your home or laptop, you can also use it. So that is also possible. And then you have good internet connectivity at your home. Maybe a broadband connection is very essential for having these online lectures or online classes. And you do need webcam to record your face if you really want to show that. That is called the talking head video. So in the talking head video, only the teacher's head speak in front of the camera. So that is being recorded. And then you also need a good headphone mic so that your audio is very clear to the students. And these are the requirements for you to have it. And along with that, you need some software, any of the softwares for screen recording or preparing your PPT or to share. So these are all some of the softwares. Not necessarily all of them is required. So few softwares are also required. So these are all the technical requirements for you to create an online course. And this is my recommendation. So if you are planning to start any course or offer online course, so please enroll in some free online courses from either Coursera, Udemy, Udacity, or Swayam platform, as we have mentioned. So this link is for my online course. So you can register in my online course, and you can also get to know how we actually teach online. So this will also be better way for you to follow and understand. This being a chemistry and you are a chemistry teacher, you can easily follow it. And I strongly encourage and request all of you to register for the course. The link is given. I will also share this with all the participants. And that will give you some heads up like what can be done in an online course. So this is basically for the university or a college to follow. So you may not have to worry about what is the LMS. This is learning management system. So if the university or the college wants to do that, they need these kind of things. And as a teacher, what you have to do is this part is the one which is required for you to create. So you can actually create some shared folders for hosting your videos, lectures, notes, everything. This is minimal expense. Sometimes some of the softwares are free, so you don't have to even spend any money. The only problem is you cannot implement it in a very large scale. Say, for example, if some platforms allow only 50 students to participate or 100 students to participate. So if it is more than that, you have to create multiple groups to share the information. And another thing is like, it's very difficult to give training to the people. So that is not possible because one teacher can train maximum 5 or 10 people only. Whereas in an LMS, that is the learning management system by an organization, we can give training to many people. And if I am a teacher, I have less automated steps. That means I cannot have a lot of automation. That is not possible. So these are some of the limitations. And if you are going to do the home-based recording, this is a cheap one, and only as an individual you can actually contribute to the creation of things. And you generally create a highly diverse course because each teacher teaches in a different way, so the course can be highly diverse. But if you have a dedicated IT team support from your organization, then these are all the advantages you will be having. Basically, the errors will be minimal because as a teacher, it will be a boring job to review your own video because as a teacher, we all know we can only speak. We don't want to listen. That is our inbuilt trait. So we are not so happy listening to other people. So the same way, we are also not very happy to watch our own video being created by our own self for errors. So if we get some help from someone, then that is actually a great thing. So an IT team, if it is supporting you for the creation of online lectures, that is the best thing you can have. And some of the points are given here, so I'm not going through detail about that. See, this is important for you to know because there are two major ways how you can actually create the lecture and share it with the students. One is called the live stream. Now we are doing a live stream. This webinar is being posted at YouTube also. So there are certain limitations which are available, which are part of this live stream, and there are a lot of advantages for the recorded lectures. So these two are given here. You can actually go through that one by one. Say, for example, in live stream, we can use Zoom, YouTube Live, Google Meet, OBS, etc. And for the recorded lectures, basically YouTube, G Drive, that is the Google Drive, email, WhatsApp, LMS, that is learning management system from your organization can be used. And the recorded lectures, one major disadvantage is it is always passive. That means it's a one-way monologue thing. Like you are speaking, that's it. Student can only listen. Student cannot ask questions. Whereas in the live stream, we can be interactive as well as passive, because most of the time we are passive because we are only silent listeners. But we can chat using during the live stream, like some of the people are asking some questions. So that is interactive. So like live stream has some of the advantages. But to have that, we do need a very good connectivity. That is the broadband, the connectivity is required for that. And one advantage or disadvantage is like unless the host allows you, you cannot record or download the lecture. So this is one of the limitation of the live stream. Whereas in the recorded lecture also, the teacher can give you whether you can download the lecture or not, or he can also deny. So these two options are available. And in the live stream, you cannot pause the video, you cannot rewatch. So these are all some of the limitations. Whereas in the recorded lecture, you can actually pause, rewind, rewatch. So you can play around, and you can also learn it as a self-paced manner. So some of the students learn a little bit slow. So for them, this recorded lectures will be highly helpful compared to the live stream. And recording lectures basically minimum technical knowledge. So if you have a computer, you have one software and you know how to record it, you can just go ahead and record it. Whereas in the live stream, you need a technical expertise. And if you look at this particular webinar itself, it is being actually hosted by the chemistry department, but with the help of the IT support only they could do it. So the chemistry department per se cannot individually do it, because these are some of the limitations of the live stream. So we do need some technical expertise in doing that. And another major problem is mistakes cannot be corrected in a live stream. So if I make some mistake while speaking, I cannot correct it. This is like a movie and drama. So I don't know, nowadays the stage dramas are very, very less, but especially in the village sites and the rural sites of the country, still many of the dramas are being held. So if you are very familiar with attending those dramas, you know, like if a person makes a wrong statement, or if he the dialogue, then you can actually, everybody will laugh that this fellow is making a mistake. So that is what is the problem with the drama session. So you cannot correct the mistakes. The same is applicable for the live stream as well. But in the case of recorded lecture, it is like a movie. So in a movie, you don't have these kind of errors, because this is checked again. So all the errors can be avoided. And in the live stream, I just come speak 1 hour, go, that's it. I don't have to spend a lot of time in creating this lecture. Whereas for the regular recorded lecture, we need a lot of time, because I'll tell you a simple example. For a 10-minute video, I need to spend 2 to 3 hours. That is for simply for recording and checking. Sometimes what happens, we make some mistakes and the flow may not be very uniform. So there are various, maybe sometimes the power may go. So there are various other limitations are there, which actually increases the time required to record a simple 5 or 10 minute lectures. And the recording alone is not sufficient. Then we have to edit the lectures if we have made some unnecessary pause, or if we have want of and like that, if we fumble upon during our lecture, then those things has to be eliminated. And sometimes we close our eyes and we may not be looking at the camera very carefully. So these are some of the mistakes has to be removed when we are posting it in the online. So that literally requires much longer time, at least 5x time for 1x of the video. So these are some of the limitations of recorded lectures. It has both advantage and limitations. And what are the different types of evaluation which you can employ in a course? This is very similar to what you are doing on your regular class. You can ask the student to submit an assignment. You can give multiple choice questions, or you can give multiple select questions, or you can crossword puzzle, or you can also give a short answers, or you can also give match the following. So these are various things by which you can do the evaluation. And the major stakeholder in our online classes or the students. So there are some skill sets which are required for students as well to participate in the online lectures. So this is very, very crucial that you tell your students at least they be prepared for, or they need to have these kind of skill sets. Generally, we always expect that student to know many things, but unfortunately, unless we tell them, it's going to be difficult for them to follow some of the things. So the first one is self-motivation is the most crucial one. If the student is not self-motivated, online lectures are going to be very boring for them. So we have to encourage the students that be self-motivated when you want to learn online. And then we have time management skills the student has to know, because he has to what is actually the time by which he has to submit the assignment, or what is the time by which he has to write a review. So there are many things he has to plan accordingly. And if he is taking 2 or 3 online courses, then every course have different deadlines. So he has to know how to manage the time efficiently. And he should be an independent learner, because in the regular classroom, at least the student can directly ask the teacher about some of the questions. But in the online lectures, it's very difficult. Even if he asks the question, the problem is we have 2 types of learning. One is a synchronous mode and another one is asynchronous mode. So in the synchronous mode, it is like a regular classroom or the live session where the student can pose the question and the teacher can actually answer it very quickly. But in the recorded lectures, it's very difficult, because student can only ask the question. Whenever the teacher sees that, then only he can answer it. So by the time he gets the reply, the student will simply forget why he asked the question or what was he asked. So these are little difficult times for the students. So they have to be independent in learning. That means they have to expect these kind of things for their learning, and they should be goal oriented. That, like, I mean, by the end of this 6 weeks course, or by the end of 8 weeks, I have to complete these are all the things. So they have to be goal oriented. Then only they will be more focused, and they should be effective communicator, because asking the right question will give the right response from the teacher. If he is asking something for the sake of asking, the teacher may not answer it properly, and he may not get the right answer what he is looking for. So he should be a good or effective communicator. And he also need to have some basic computer skills, because this is very, very essential. Otherwise, he may not even know how to download a lecture or how to watch a video online. So some basic computer skills are required. And say, for example, uploading, the teacher asked the student to upload his written notes, but he doesn't know how to operate a computer, or he doesn't know how to access a particular file. Then this is where the problem comes. So the student has to have some amount of computer skill while he wants to learn something online. So I'll be talking about Google Classroom. I'll very briefly talk about Google Classroom, how you can actually set up this in your regular online teaching mode. So you can search the Google to get the Google Classroom. So this is for education. This website you will actually go into. Here you can actually see the go to the classroom section. So once you click on the go to the classroom section, you will see a sidebar here, and you have Google Classroom, G Suite, G Suite Admin, Google Cloud Platform, or Assignment. So you can choose any one of them. And I click on the Google Classroom. See, these are all screenshot which I have taken for showing only. When you are going through the online thing, you can actually see that lively. So you will, when you click on the Google, be taken to this screen. So in this screen, this is my login ID from my Swayam course login ID. So we are actually in a different platform. This is not a Gmail one. So this is a Swayam account. This is academic account. So my domain is different from the Gmail normal domain. So some of the activities what I perform here may not be applicable to many people. So you can actually, for your university or your college, if you really want to have this Google Classroom for sharing online classes, then you have to have the same domain name. So the domain name has to be the same. Then only student can be enrolled within that. For the entire college or the entire university, you can have one single domain address. So this is the IT support has to do this. Once you get that, and the teacher has to be given a particular ID, the student has to be given a particular ID. So with that ID, they will be registering for the class. So I am creating the class. When I continue, So the next screen, what I say is pick your role. So am I going to be a student or I'm going to be a teacher? So here I will choose me as a teacher. So I click as a teacher. Then you will go to the next screen. So here, create or join your first class, because I don't have any class created. So that is where it will show don't see your existing class. So what you need to do is you have to actually create by going to the plus sign. Once you click here, so you can see on this plus screen, you can join your class. Are you seeing my laser pointer movement? Can you see that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Sir, we are able to see, sir.
Okay, great.
Thank you, sir.
So when you click the plus icon, you will see join class or create class. So as a teacher, you are actually going to create a class. If you will be joining the class. So these are all the two roles. When you choose, you have to choose accordingly. And as a teacher, I am creating a class called the Chemistry 101, the section A, chemistry subject room. So all these things you can actually fill in. And once you click the blue here, create button, so it will create the class. So once I click that, I will go to the class here. Chemistry 101, this is the whatever the details we had given in the previous screen is actually being captured. And this class code is very, very important, because this is has to be shared to your students. As a teacher, you will send this link to your students to register for this class. So once they have this link only, or the class code only, they can register for the course. Otherwise, they cannot register for the course. And then here we have to, if you want to share some information with the students, so here is the place where you can see share something with your class. So when you want something with the class, when you click on that, it will say from Google Drive, link, file, or YouTube. You can choose any one of them where the files are. So based on that, you can actually share it with the class. So once you click insert the file from the Google Drive, that is the one I have selected. So it will show either drag the files here or select files from your device. So you can choose between any one of the mode to highlight the file which you actually want to do. And then when you go to the people, you will see the teachers and the students enrolled here. If you have the many students who are enrolled, their names and the details will be listed here. And here in this particular class, I have not enrolled any students, so nothing is shown up. So here it is very clearly given, invite student or give them the class code so and so to register for this particular class. So here I have actually shown, I have uploaded the video from my PC. This is the video for the student to watch, because I am going to share this with the class. I've uploaded the video because as in the previous screen I had shown, we can actually click the link and upload the file. And I have a PDF file uploaded. This is the notes which I want to share with the students. See here, this particular topic is basically about heterocycles. So I have a heterocycles PDF, and the bicyclic synthesis I have given made the video file. So these two are shared with the students, and this is my introduction to the students. If some students want to know what this course is about, so I have just given a YouTube link. So once they click on this link, they will be taken to the YouTube to watch the video about this particular course. Then they can actually get the videos and the text files, whatever I have shared in this particular class. So this is open to all the students, those who are registered for that particular class. And if you want to evaluate the students, what we have to do is you can give them assignment. So here we have the create button. So the first one is the stream. The second one is the classwork. The classwork is actually asking your student to do something. It may be writing assignment, writing a quiz, or any examination, whatever it may be, it can be done under this particular heading, that is the classwork. The people is the place where actually students will be registering for that particular place. Their details will be given under people. And now under the create section, I have to go and see. We have various things. I can create an assignment, I can create a quiz, I can create some question, I can give some material, or I can reuse a post. So these are all the various things I can create for the particular class. So if I go to the assignment part, then we have on the right hand side, this is for all students. We generally highlight so that every student is registering for that. And you can assign the mark, whether it is 10 mark, 20 mark, 100 mark, 50 mark. So the points you can assign here, and by which date the students are supposed to submit. So you can set the due date here. So by clicking here, you can actually select the time date from the calendar. Topic, if you have 4 or 5 different topics, under each topic you can actually put different types of assignments, so all can be categorized in this particular section. And the rubric is the way how you want to evaluate it. So you can actually generate report, and the originality report is nothing but if it is a plagiarism checking and other things, you can actually do online. And then if you come here, you can give the title for that particular assignment. And if you want to give instructions like, okay, you have to submit it assignment by 2 weeks time, or you can discuss with your friends, or you have to do it in a group. So whatever instruction you want to give, you can type the instruction here. By that, you can actually share it with the students. And then the next one is like, if you want to create a quiz. So how you want to create a quiz, I will show that in a couple of okay, thanks a lot. A lot of people creating this presentation. Thank you so much. I'll just move forward because we have only limited time. So I want to complete a lot of things before that. So in the blank quiz. So how do you want to create a quiz is simply like when you are inside the Google Classroom, you can actually go to the forms. Under the forms, you will actually get this Google Forms will be available. So this is what is called the survey form, or whatever people call it in different names. But this is where I am actually going to use it like a quiz. So here on the right hand side, you will see some icons. The first one is add question. So in the you see here questions and responses are given. So the total point is 8. Actually, I have created this quiz for some of the students, and I'm just sharing it directly with you people. So you can actually see how it is done. So the questions have 8 questions are there because I had given 1 point for every question. So total 8 questions are there. I'll just show only one of type. So one is MCQ type, that is multiple choice question. So the question is identify the product formed from the following reaction. Refer alcohol 1. So this is alcohol 1. See, this is an image. Actually, this is what he was also telling, like how to do, because chemistry requires a lot of structural drawing, and how we do it in online is the biggest challenge many people are having. So that's how I say, like some of the softwares he had mentioned. I will also tell about few of the softwares which you can actually use for creating the structures. You can either save them as a PDF file, you can save them as a image file, or you can save them as a SKC file, CDX file. There are various software related files are also there. In the online mode, in the Google form, the best and the easiest way is use a JPEG image or the PNG image. So with that, what you can do is like you create the image and then just export the image as a, create the structure and export the structure as an image. So this is how I created. I have exported this as an image and I just copy pasted here. So how do I copy paste? Here, something called add image. The fourth one is add image. So I have to simply click on this icon. Then it will ask for where is the image file which I want to include. So we have to just highlight that whatever is the file you want to include, then it automatically comes and sits here. And for this one, the problem is this is one particular section, this is another section, this is another section. So we have 3 different sections. So if you are putting questions, sometimes some people prefer randomization of questions for the students, because we always suspect sometime like students will copy paste from the friends. So instead of giving the same question paper to all the students, if we can give different type of question paper to different type of students, then they may not easily copy paste that. So that option is also possible here. So we can randomize the questions, we can also randomize the answer sequence. So when we are randomizing the answer sequence, one thing what you should not use is none of the above or all of the above are the 2 options which you should never use in this kind of randomization thing. Because in the regular one, you will put the none of the above at the bottom or all of the above at the bottom. So in that case, what will happen is this will be the 4th one. But if it is randomized, the 4th one may go to first one in some of the people's computer. So at that time, they will be looking at none of the above or maybe all of the above. So the first one cannot be all of the above. So these are all some of the issues you will be having. So we always recommend don't use none of the above or all of the above as one of your answers. So we have to have 4 distinct answers so that you can actually give that right questions in a randomized fashion. So in the randomized fashion, these sections may change. So that is the reason we just put refer alcohol 1. So even if it is randomized, this particular thing and alcohol 1 will be associated so that the student knows what is this question for. So we have an alcohol here, which is a primary alcohol. Basically, the primary alcohol undergoes substitution reaction. We have a elimination reaction also happening. But here, if you look at this, primary alcohol gives a primary alkyl halide, but here we have a tertiary alkyl halide. So can a primary alcohol give a tertiary alkyl halide? So this is some kind of thinking for the student. So these kind of questions also you can pose, because this primary alcohol can undergo rearrangement. So that is the major thing you are actually going to emphasize, whether the students can understand it or not. Because elimination is very simple. So elimination gives only the terminal alkene in this particular case. So maybe they can answer all the 3 is possible, but here you don't have all the 3. So either you have only A or B, A, B and C. So that means all the 3 are possible. So students are put in a little bit confused statement so that they can actually think and answer. Because if you look at the Google, the most of the time what the problem we as a teacher face is, the student generally can Google and find the answers most of the times. And running an open book examination is the most difficult part, because creating questions for open book examination is not that easy. Generally, if we follow, because if you are familiar with the Bloom's taxonomy, we have 6 levels of Bloom's taxonomy. The bottommost one is called remembering, followed by understanding. So remembering and understanding is generally studied, or analyzed for students up to the 8th standard or 10th standard. Then they come to analyze, evaluate and create, which are higher levels. So at our college level, we generally want the students to either analyze or evaluate. So at that time, the questions has to be little bit different than simple remembering type questions, which is the rote learning. We don't want the student to follow the rote learning concept. So that's the reason in our question paper, actually in JNU, we have been following open book examination for the past several years. So in our examination, the students are given internet, books, notes, everything, whatever is possible under the earth, under the sun, they can use it to answer our question papers. So we set the question paper a little bit tricky so that the direct answer can never be found on the internet. So for that, we also need to do little bit extra work. So that is where we always insist that the way of evaluation will actually decide how you taught the students and how the students are going to behave. So if you take a gold has to be. Telagavati madam, please நீங்க பேசாம இருங்க, டிஸ்டர்ப் பண்ணாதீங்க. உங்க மைக்கை வந்து மியூட் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. திரும்ப திரும்ப நான் சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கேன். Asking the open book examination type questions, the people has to think and answer. So it has to be always a little bit tricky, and it cannot be found by simple Google search and other things. So if you give like a image, if I give the name of this compound, then the student can easily search for the compound in the Google. But if I give an image searching in the internet is still not possible unless they use artificial intelligence. So at that time, we will identify how to overcome that problem. Also, as a teacher, we know what the student can do. So as a teacher, we have to be one step above the student. So we have to be a little bit careful, like how police and thief both, to catch a thief, the police should know what the thief can do. The same way, as a teacher, if we want to evaluate, we should know what the student will do. So we have to avoid all the cheating, plagiarism and those kind of things beforehand. So this is our responsibility as a teacher. We have to do it. So we generally use images. So images are very difficult to manipulate. So when we have to create the Google form, we just add the question paper. When you click on this plus sign, it will add a new question paper. If you want to import question, if you have typed in the text format, some 5-6 questions you have typed, you can simply import all the questions. And if you want to add a title or description for a particular question, you can also do it by clicking on this one. This is for adding an image. You can also add a video, you can add sections. So these are all the various options which are possible within the Google Forms, which you can make use of while creating your question. So this is a MCQ type question, that is a multiple choice question. The next one is, again, there is one more question I had shown here, refer alkyl halide 1. So this is the alkyl halide 1. So here we have, again, primary alkyl halide undergoes base elimination reaction, basically to give different alkenes, which formed, whether you follow Hoffman product or sites of product. So that is the question we are actually asking the students. So they will have to answer according to that, and which is a stable intermediate which can be formed in this particular reaction. Based on that, they will answer. So we have different answers given here. This again is a MCQ type question. So this can be created using Google Forms. And then we also have something called the MSQ, that is multiple select questions. So that means there are more than one correct answer for this one. Say, for example, you can ask a question for an SN2 reaction, which of the following changes or decreases the reaction rate? Increasing temperature of the reaction or decreasing the concentration of the nucleophile, because when you say SN2, the reaction is basically dependent on both the concentration of the starting material and the nucleophile. So again, the most important part, what the students will be missing in this particular section is the increasing the volume of the solvent, because when we talk about SN1 and SN2 reactions, we seldom talk about solvent effect. We always talk about the nucleophile strength, whether it is a strong nucleophile, weak nucleophile, or whether it is a primary, secondary, tertiary, what type of the alkyl halide is involved. We generally talk only these kind of things. We do not go to the next in-depth level of solvent effect on a reaction. So that is the reason here the student will be fumbled, because they don't know whether, see, by choice, they can simply say decreasing the concentration. So nucleophile is involved in the SN2 rate determining step. So that means this will affect. That is sure, they know it. But decreasing the polarity of the solvent, it's kind of different. I don't know whether it will work or not. I really don't know. So they may skip. But increasing the temperature, basically temperature increase favors the elimination reaction, but not the substitution reaction. The most obvious answer which they will be missing will be the increasing the volume of the solvent. So basically, when you increase the volume of the solvent, what actually happens? The concentration decreases. So this is an indirect way. This is where we say concept-based teaching is the one we always teach to the students, so that you cannot find an answer very easily on the internet. So even if they type all these things in the internet, I am pretty sure you will not find any answer to these kind of questions. So framing the questions is the most crucial part for online classes, because in the online class, what generally happens is students can easily find some of the answers from the net, because if you are using internet to search the question, obviously the same can be done by your own student itself. So they can easily come and say, "Arey, the sir took from so and so website," and he can simply share that website details also with his friends, because they are little bit advanced in the technology usage compared to people like me, who are like, I mean, the old generation people. We are not that tech savvy, except a few people like us. We are much more tech savvy than the students, but generally speaking, many people are not tech savvy, so they can be easily overtaken by the students. So in that case, the teacher has to know what type of questions we have to frame. The evaluation is the most crucial part. If your evaluation is tough, because that is what we always follow in our online classes. See, there is no entry for our online classes. If anybody wants to enter, they can just join our course. But if somebody wants to get a certificate, they have to clear the examination. And we set the bar at the examination only. Our questions are going to be very tough. It is not going to be that simple. But if you want to learn, come and join our course, learn. But if you want to get a certificate, then you have to be up to the mark. So that way, your online classes also can be easily watched and studied by the students. But if you have a very good evaluation, that will set a real standard for your course. So keep in mind, evaluation is the most crucial part. And then if you want to set some questions, you can also use short answer type questions. The students can type in, or they can also write something, scan the image, and they can, or you can also have multiple choice questions. See, here you can say students can reply to each other. That option is there. Student can edit the answer. So if you allow the student to edit the answer, even after submission, till the end date of submission, they can actually edit their answers. And if you want to share some material, you can create under topics. You can give a topic name and you can create, and you can put the description here, which is optional, so that you can share the material to the students. And I think we have done a lot of things. I will just go through very fast about some of the online things which in my course, which I have actually used. The first one is instructional design is the most important part which I have actually used. So here I have used animations, and of course marketing is another important thing we have to do, because if I create a course and the students are not aware, then they may not even join the course. So some sort of marketing is also required. And while creating the course, me is nothing but the subject matter expert, which is me, I myself. But in my course, I am also the instructional designer. So I am I have played so many roles in creating my entire course. I hardly got any support from the other people, but it doesn't mean that everybody can venture into this kind of tough task. If you are interested and if you are willing, you can also become an expert in the instructional design part. So this is nothing but if you have to construct a house, how will you do it? You need many people support. So the same way, if you want to create an online course, you need many people support. That's it. That is as simple as that. So instructional designer is something like a contractor who interacts with many people. See, there may be civil engineer, there may be plumber, there may be electrician, there may be a person who lays the tiles, or somebody who gets the concrete and other things. Somebody brings sand, somebody brings the cement and other things. So we have many people who are involved in the construction of the house, and the original contractor is a person who interacted with all the people to give you the entire house. The same way, an instructional designer is a person who interacts with various people, and he gives the completed product, that is the course or the video of the entire course. And the most important part, what I have followed is the ADDIE model, that is instructional design. We have analyzed, that means what is the student's requirement for that particular course, that we do in the first step, that is analyze, and we design and develop the material for that course. Then I is for implementation, E is for evaluation, that we generally do at the end of the course. So some of the steps I had given here, if someone is interested, they can go through that. And what are the different activities which are involved in the development is I have to create a presentation. So generally I use PowerPoint because I'm a Microsoft person. So I use PowerPoint. If you are you will use Keynote, and if you are good at online, you can also use Prezi. These are the different tools which can be used to create your presentation. And the demonstration of model, Jagan Mohan Reddy sir said virtual and physical models. I will explain, but basically in the virtual model, we have plenty of things. PHET is one website, and Oscar is a program developed by IIT Bombay. There they have actually shown about various animation about how the reaction mechanism takes place. And interactive components, you can have like discussions, you can have interview, learning by doing, LBD method. This is one of the methods. Basically, the online lectures are student-centric one, because in the regular classroom, the teacher teaches and the student learns. But in the online mode, what happens is basically the student learns and the teacher actually supports them. So that is where we call that a side by side. And stage on stage is the one which is for a regular classroom teaching, and guide on the side is for the online lecture. So the guide, that is the teacher, is on the side and the students are learning on their own. So that is where we have to introduce a lot of interactive components when we are creating our online lectures. Some of the software is like Snagit, Camtasia, Screencast-O-Matic, or some of the softwares which can be used for screen capture. And you can also use schemes, table, figures to explain that. So here, the rule of thumb as a teacher, you have to always follow. I always follow is basically, if books can explain better than you, if I cannot explain better than a book, then just follow the book. That is the simplest and the easiest way. So no need to complicate the things. Keep it as simple as possible. Otherwise, if you can explain better than the book, then go ahead, create your own. That is what. So these two, if you can remember and if you can follow, that is the best thing, so that you can do a very good online course. And of course, you have to focus on the concept. being creative helps, but not mandatory, because if you have to be creative, you have to spend a lot of time. So some people may not have enough time. So it's not necessary that you have to be always creative. You can also create lectures without much of creative steps. And you already know what is the fact and the concept. So in our online lectures, we mainly focus on the concept. We don't focus on the fact. Fact is mainly for the rote learning type of people. And if you are teaching for a higher education student, we want to go by the concept. So that means information is a fact. That means, okay, what is the Zaitsev rule? That is a fact. But how do you apply the Zaitsev rule to a particular substrate? That is what is the concept. So we generally want to go by the concept-based approach, where we can actually bring our students' level little bit higher, because I always that if at all possible, we always go for an open book exam where we are challenging the limit of the students. And of course, you will be surprised to see some of the students will be much better than what you have actually expected them. So the more innovative things you introduce into your class, the students will be liking that. And of course, I will always say that students know whether you are putting effort or not. They can easily figure it out. If you simply copy paste from the net and you create your lectures, they will simply say that teacher is horrible, he is useless, don't attend his class. So this word of mouth will go very quickly to the students, and you will lose your reputation very quickly. But if you look at courses created by us, because we put a lot of effort in making sure that we don't copy paste from the internet directly. I do use internet for many of the information, but I don't copy paste directly. I modify. I refer at least 5-6 different sources. So one particular information I have to give, I will refer at least 5 or different places. So 5 different places given 5 different ways. And if you can incorporate all these things in your one single slide, I will show some of the things how I have done it, so that you know the difference between why we have to spend a little bit more time on creating a very good course. So this is the most important one, as Jagan Mohan Reddy sir was telling. So some of the resources which is available for the chemistry lectures, you can use structural drawing, so Avogadro, ChemDraw, ACD, ChemSketch, PubChem Sketcher. So I will just talk about this PubChem Sketcher. This is a free online tool. And for creating tables, you can use MS PowerPoint, Word, Excel, Google Sheet, Docs, everything you can use. And if you want to create 3D images, you can use PyMol, Discovery Studio, Viewer, and other software, Chem3D, Ultra. So some of the softwares are free, some of the softwares are paid one. So you can actually search the net, and if you want, I can also give some information about that. And if you have taken some figures, tables from a book, you have to get a copyright permission even for your online classes. And if you have taken from American Chemical Society journals, they generally give copyright permission for 3 or 4 figures or tables in a particular article. One single article, you can take 2 or 3 images free for your online classes. So this is the website given here. This is the website for PubChem Sketcher version 2.4. So here you have various ready-made templates are available. So here you have a benzene ring, here you have cyclohexane, cyclopentane, cyclopropane, you have a bond, a double bond, triple bond, a wedged bond, and the broken bond. So stereochemistry, unknown bond, and you have various atoms are there. So this is a readily available online tool. What you have to do is you have to simply click on this picture and automatically it comes up here. So I'm not showing the demo, live demo here, but you watch this on, you can also go to this particular website and you can actually do that. I'm sharing this PPT so you can actually do that. So here I have drawn a structure using a aromatic ring. So that is the benzene one. And I have added a methyl group here. So this is, I have added from here. Then I have added the isopropyl unit. So this is isopropyl unit I have added here. So this molecule I have created from this tool. And here I have an option of export. So I can export this as a PNG image, picture, GIF image, WMF image. You have various formats, even PDF image is possible. So whatever the structure you draw, you can directly export it. So once you export it, as I shown in the Google Forms, these questions you can draw here in this particular thing and just export it as an image and import that image into your Google Form for your question paper. So that way you can easily do it without buying any software or other thing, because Google is free. This particular software, online software, is also free. So you can actually make use of these two things for creating your questions, and even for your lectures. If you want to create some structures, figures, and other things, you can use these kind of freely available softwares. And there is another software which is available, ACD ChemSketch. This is for the academic and personal use. So this is the website address I had given here. You can go to this website and you can download this software. So this is again a free software. This is one installation. So you can use it for academic purpose. It's a free one. So this can also be used to draw the chemical structures. And now let me talk about the true part of our online lectures. So this is a statement I want to teach my students. So in a chemical reaction, various changes takes place. Some of the changes that occur during the reaction include structure, stereochemistry, and energy. And it is not necessarily only these three things. There are many other things are also taking place in a particular reaction, but I am just focusing on these things. And I want to teach the student how best I can teach this in a very simple way. So here I create my model. So instead of the lengthy text, I only put a few pictures like changes during a reaction. So that means what are the changes that is occurring during a particular chemical reaction. So we have a stereochemistry change, energy change, and the structure change. So these are all the three things that is happening in a particular reaction. So is it sufficient? I think no, we may have to add some more things. So that is how we generally slowly we build. We start from the scratch and we build. So I just add the stereochemistry can be something called the conformational one or a geometric one. And the energy can be an activation energy or the free energy for a reaction. And we have a structure. The structure can be a functional group. Say, for example, carboxylic acid is converted to an ester. Okay, so the property changes. Carboxylic acid is highly acidic in nature, whereas the ester is neutral in nature. So during the course of the reaction, a completely acidic substance is converted into a neutral substance. So how do you want to do the workup? So these are all the things you can actually teach the students in a much better way by using these kind of models. So now, rather than in the normal way, I just want to modify a little bit more. This is a different way of representing the same things, but this is a monocolor one. I'm not so happy. So I just change the colors. So you can add some colors so that it looks much more appealing to the students. And then finally, I go to the actual presentation like this. So what are the changes happening during a particular reaction? I talk about the energy changes, structure changes, and the stereochemistry changes. So in the case of energy, what are all the energies which are involved? That is involved, free energy is involved. And for structures, we can see these are some of the animations I generally use in my lectures, so that a simple thing of changes what is occurring in a chemical reaction can be given by this way. So this will be much more informative for the students, and they will also like to watch these kind of things. And another major thing what you can use is analogy based model. So IUPAC nomenclature, all of you are aware of it. So I want to teach an IUPAC nomenclature to a BSc student. So how do I teach it in a very simple way so that he remembers it forever? So we know how to write the name of the chemical. So we write a 3-ethyl-3,5-dimethylheptane. So here the ending is ane, so that means it's a hydrocarbon, that is it's an alkane. So when we write the name, we write from left to right. That is how we write. But when you are converting this name into a structure, what you do is you actually do from the right to the left. So we start from the end and then hept. Hept means there are 7 carbons are there. So that is the longest chain. It has 2 methyl groups at the position 3 and 5, and there is an ethyl group at 3. So with this, I want to draw the structure. So this is how we actually do that. So left to right is for writing the name, and right to left is for converting from name to the structure. I want to teach this to the students. So how do I do it? So of course, everybody knows what is Templeton. So I teach this concept using Templeton. So how do I correlate it? So basically, rule number 1, everybody knows. Your parent do not want you to play Templeton for longer time. So because it will affect, so generally parents don't allow the children to play Templeton too. So this is rule number 1. That is, your parents don't want you to play. And but if you want to play still, then what you are going to do, you have to run the longest distance to win the game. So that means you have to run longest distance. So what is the next rule? So you have to collect all the coins within shortest period of time. That is the lowest time you have to collect all the coins. So these are all the 3 rules you have to follow while you are playing Temple Run. So now extend the same to your IUPAC nomenclature. So the rule number 1, what is, look for the parent chain or group. So here you have the parent, here again you have the parent. So the parent chain is the first rule you have to remember. Then in the second rule, you have to run the longest distance. So look for the longest chain. So that is the second rule. And in the third rule, you have to collect everything within the shortest time, that is the lowest time. So substituent will guess lowest number. So all the 3 rules of the IUPAC can be explained simply by using one simple Temple Run analogy. So this is one way of teaching the students so that they don't have to remember. As I mentioned in our class, we always insist for no remembering. That is, rote learning is not there in our class. We only go by concept. So how do we teach the concept? We simply use these kind of small analogies so that the students are very comfortable in getting the concept. So now, files get eaten by hungry, powerful nucleophiles. So I also use some images. So here, Pac-Man is a game because I'm a pretty old man. So in our times, Pac-Man is one of the important arcade game we used to play. So this game here, this one is eating up at this point, and this fellow, this is what is called the we call in our case like nucleophile, and these are all the electrophiles. So this one will come and eat these icons. These are like, I mean, something will be moving in this particular game, and this one will come and eat away these things. So if a student is aware of these kind of games, then you can actually use a game concept just to tell them that, okay, this is a concept you have to remember. Then I also use mnemonics to remember how to remember substitution reaction in this particular case. So I simply say I'm new to BSc. BSc is nothing but Sensex, that is Bombay Stock Exchange. You can actually use it. So in this case, how do I remember the entire substitution and elimination reactions? So whatever elimination reaction, whatever the substitution reaction, you just remember I am new to the BSc, or I went to WBS, that is West Bengal State for NSS trip. That is, if you can remember these 2 statements, you can completely remember the entire elimination and the substitution reaction. So this is the mnemonics I tell the student. How do I do it? New is N is for nucleophile, E is for elimination, W is for weak. So you already know if the nucleophile is a weak one, it favors elimination reaction. Then what is the second one? If the base is strong, again, that favors elimination reaction. So if a strong base is used, we know elimination is possible. So that way you can remember I am new to BSc means you know what is the elimination reaction is completely done. When you come to WBS and NSS strip, W is a weak, B is a base, S is a substitution. So if you are using a weak base for a substitution, then the substitution reaction only occurs. And the NSS, N is a nucleophile, S is a substitution, S is strong. So if you are using a strong nucleophile, that always favors substitution reaction. So if you just use this kind of mnemonics, then obviously the entire substitution and the elimination reactions of alkyl halides, which is the most difficult one to remember, can be done in just 2 lines. So these are some of the ways we generally include in our classroom lectures and the online things. And the next one is if you want to talk about radical stabilization to the students. So we can have a 2-dimensional structure. So, but by teaching a 2-dimensional structure to the students, they may not understand very easily. That's what I said in the beginning. Stereochemistry is very crucial for understanding organic chemistry. So here, how do I convert the 2-dimensional structure into a 3-dimensional one? So we generally use the 3-dimensional image, which can be created using the software. So when I create this image, basically, you know, this is a planar one. If you look at this triphenyl alkyl radical, methyl radical, this is a planar one because it is written in the 2-dimensional way. But when you see the 3-dimensional one, you say this is the only thing which is in the plane, this is out of plane, this again is out of plane. So that means the entire 3-dimension of the molecule can be seen by this one. The same way, if there is a CC double bond is formed, so another intermediate can be seen like this. So this way, if you are actually using some of the 3-dimensional images along with your regular 2D images, student can easily follow that in a much better way. And if you want to teach about inductive effect, what we use is like electrostatic potential map, we can say. So this is the butanoic acid, and any blue part is area of low electron density. Any red part is density high. That means high electron density. So here we have an oxygen which is highly electronegative. So the electron density is very high here. And this is the hydroxyl proton. So this H is the one which is responsible for the acidity. That is why how we calculate the pKa for this butanoic acid. So this can be easily removed. So you can see here the blue color, it is here. And when you go to the alpha chloro, that is the 2-chlorobutanoic acid, the inductive effect plays a vital role. This is a highly electron withdrawing group. So that means this makes this proton easily lost. So if you look at here, the amount of blue color here and the amount of blue color here, if you look here, it is having more blue color compared to this one. In other words, this proton can be even much more easily removed compared to this proton. So if you look at the pKa value, this is 4.8 and this is 2.8. So the lower pKa value means it is highly acidic. So that way you can actually incorporate some pictures so that test can easily follow. These kind of things are possible for only for the online lectures. So again, Pearson model is another one which I generally use to explain hardened soft acid and base concept. So if you look at this pretty lengthy things, it is very, very difficult for the students to follow. They cannot, if I ask the question whether H plus ion is a hard acid or a hard base, or it is a soft acid or a soft base, how do I know? Plus charge means it is acid, so that we can say. But H plus, the hydrogen proton, is it a hard one or a soft one? How do I know? So this is very difficult, and the rules are here. So high positive charge, small size, not easily polarizable, not easily oxidized. So how do I know whether H plus is easily oxidized or polarizable? I really have no idea. Say for example, I have a S minus ion and a O minus ion. Between S minus and O minus, which is a soft one? How do I know? So these are quite different for the students to follow. So the easiest way to do that is basically, I give two examples. Pearl, another one is a balloon. So the pearl is a small size. It is very difficult to break. So in other words, it is very hard. So H plus, if you see, the size is very small. So that is simply a hard acid. You look at the balloon, which is very big. The size is very big, but unfortunately, it can be broken very easily with a small pin also. So that means it is very soft. So between oxygen and the sulfur, sulfur is too big. So in other words, sulfur is a soft base compared to H plus, which is a hard acid. So that way, if you use analogy like pearl and the balloon analogy for explaining HSAB principle, I don't have to discuss all these things to the students in an elaborate way. I simply say these two things and done. I am done with that. So you have to incorporate these kind of things in your online classes, which is easily possible. And by that, this is how we teach our students so that they know the concept. We don't make them rote learn anything. So then stabilization you are already familiar with. So the acetate is having a high acidity compared to the phenol. But if you look at the resonance structures, we have only 2 resonance structure here. Here we have 4 resonance structures. So in that case, phenoxide has to be more stabilized compared to acetate, but it is not the case. So why it is not the case? So in that case, we ourselves can pose a question to the student and let the student answer the question. So here we can say phenoxide has many energy of high energy carbon ion sources. That is the reason that is less stable. In other words, it is having low pKa, high pKa. The acidity is much less compared to acids. So this kind of pictures also you can add to your lectures. These are all possible only in the online mode. So here we can talk about carbocation rearrangement. So what are the different type of rearrangement possible for so we have no change in carbon skeleton, change in carbon skeleton, loss of groups or other electron deficient alumnus or terminus are there. So these are some of the ways by which in a single slide you can explain all the things to the students in a much easier way so that student can follow it. This is like a recap of whatever we have studied so far. And in the case of pinnacle rearrangement also, you can actually say here this is a symmetric molecule. So whether the protonation takes place in the first step, it can happen on this alcohol or this hydroxy group, whichever is possible. So since this is a symmetric molecule, it doesn't matter whichever hydroxyl is protonated. But if we have 4 different groups, we can ask the student this kind of question. So which hydroxyl will be protonated, whether this will be protonated or this will be protonated. So how do you know? How do you decide? So the stability versus ESA formation. So these kind of questions you can actually post to the students and ask them to reply discussion forum, and then you can actually answer them what is the right way. Say for example, you have a phenyl group here, and this oxygen is the one which can be easily protonated because this plus charge can be easily stabilized by the phenyl groups. The methyl also can stabilize the carbocation by inductive effect, but the phenyl can stabilize through resonance effect. So resonance outweighs inductive effect. So in this particular case, the protonation happens on this particular hydroxyl only. So this way you can also explain to the students. I think with that we will conclude this session, and I am open for questions.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
This is Dr. Karun Kumar from Andhra Laila College, sir. It's
Yeah,
a fantastic lecture by you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
We enjoyed it. And sir, while dealing with the Google Meet, hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Audible, sir.
Yeah. Tell me.
Sir, while dealing with Google Classroom,
Okay.
we are facing a problem with respect to subscript and superscript, sir. Whenever we are typing a question,
You cannot do
the
that.
formula,
Sorry, I will tell you beforehand. You cannot do it.
we cannot do it.
No, you cannot do it because that option is currently not available. So only math type characters can be typed. Even alpha, beta, and other things cannot be typed. See, we have a direct contact with the Google. See, our Swayam platform, we have courses which are running. So basically, we are using Course Builder, which is created by Google. So we have actually requested them to include that because especially for a subject like chemistry, we do need the superscript and subscript. I have 2 options for you. You can take care. One is if you can use Google Docs. Okay, Google Docs, you can type superscripts and subscripts.
Okay.
And then you copy that and paste it in your whichever format you want in the Google Classroom. It may sometimes accept because see, there are 2 types of character coding. One is ASCII coding and another one is a universal one. So this ASCII coding is generally used in the text-based format, and Word and other things, they use their proprietary format. So that is the reason the interoperability is a major problem if you have to copy something from the Word and you want to paste in the Google Doc. So if it can be pasted or if it can be created in Google Doc, then you can actually use it in your classroom. That is possible. Option two, you type everything in the Word document, capture, screen capture, or convert it into an image, then post it into your Google, Classroom. It can be pasted as an image. You can do it.
That's what we are doing, sir, right now. That's what we are doing.
Option. That is the best option. You already know the best option.
Thank you, sir. Sir, focus on that rubric option again, sir. Enlighten us with that rubric option.
See, rubric option is actually for the report taking. Basically, you have to set the goal. See, basically, we call 2 things. One is called the learning outcome of a course, and then what is the actual outcome, what you get out of the course. See, the learning outcomes are generally said before the course. That by the end of the course, students know to do A, B, C, like that we give. That is generally given in the course handout. And how do you evaluate is actually done through the rubric method. So in the rubric method, you have to know at least a little bit, you need to know what you actually want to measure. See, this is a measurement scale. So in the measurement scale, how students are performing. Say, for example, if you take an Excel sheet, 15 students had given some answers. So whether it is deviation is there or whether there is a significant difference in their answers. So these kind of analysis generally are done using this rubric method. So you do need to have some end results, what you are actually looking for. Based on that, you have to design that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
There is one more question, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Can I tell that, sir?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
How to avoid copyright and plagiarism issues while making content?
Okay.
Yes, sir. The question is like,
Once again, what is the question?
how to avoid copyright and plagiarism issues
Okay.
while making the content?
Okay. Mainly, if you want to avoid plagiarism, if you are, there are various things. It is applicable to different things. If you are using from a book and the book only has the image or the table or other things, we cannot avoid it because only the original publisher has the copyright for that particular image. So for our regular classroom lectures, in India, we are permitted to use that Xerox copy of that image in your lecture. Nobody is going to question. But when it comes to online lectures, still right now, we do not have any clear-cut information whether it is legally approved or not. But as long as it is not legally approved, we are not supposed to use it. So basically, the direct copy pasting of the image, try to avoid. If you can recreate the image, then go ahead and recreate and you can use it. And if you are using, see, this is one of the reasons I generally do not use their journals or their publishers' books. See, there are plenty of publishers are there throughout the world. Taylor and Francis is one, Oxford University Press is another, Pearson is another, then American Chemical Society is there. So there are plenty of resources available for our chemistry. Elsewhere is the only company which doesn't permit us to use any of the copyrighted images and the pictures. So I, in any of my course, do not use a single picture or image from them because we have to completely avoid. There is no other way because I have approached them for giving permission and other things, but their legal team never gave us permission. So I simply avoided. Now, who is going to be the loser? I am not the loser. Say, for example, 3,000 plus students are joining my course. So all of them will be getting information from American Chemical Society journals or other books, but not from any of the elsewhere books. So elsewhere is actually losing in this kind of case. To worry about all these things. So better if there is a plagiarism or other issues, avoid it. That is the best solution. Now, if you cannot avoid it, you still want to use it. There is another option. What you can actually do is if you can recreate the image, a similar image, then use the similar image. Say, for example, if you want to teach conformational analysis, and everyone knows what is the dot conformation, what is the anti-conformation, what is the partial eclipse conformation and fully eclipsed conformation. So we have a conformational analysis graph is there. So these kind of graphs, every book follows the same thing. So what you can do, simplest way I generally do is tracing is one option which you can use. Tracing means you just copy paste the image in the PowerPoint and using your mouse or other thing, you try to trace the entire thing. Then it becomes your own creation. So you use it and it is not exact replica of the original because this is created by you. So you can freely use it without asking anybody.
Thank you, sir, for your clarification. Sir, there is one more question from Anand Sai.
Yeah.
Is the SWAYAM online certificate courses may add academic credits of concerned degree by university as it is issued by Government of India?
Yes, of course. That is the reason SWAYAM courses are being offered by Ministry of Human Resource Development. So those credits are basically CBCS, that is a choice-based credit system which was introduced by UGC few years back. And my current course is a 4-credit course. So any student who appears an examination and clears the examination will get a 4 credits from Jawaharlal Nehru University, which can be used in their university's credit system because now, as of today, 20% of university credits can be earned by the online degree courses. So the same is going to be extended up to 40% courses in the near soon. So that means if a semester has, say, for example, 24 credit in a particular semester, that is equivalent to 5 or 6 papers. out of that 40% is going to be something like 2 or 3 papers. So every semester the student can register for 2 courses and get the degree, the certificate from the SWAYAM examination. See, we do have a criteria for passing the examination. So unless they pass the examination, they will not be given the certificate. Once they get the certificate, they can approach the registrar of that particular university and they will permit for the credit transfer. It is possible. And if any issues are there to a particular student, they can always write to us. Any of the course coordinator, they can write to the course coordinator and we will take up the issue with the corresponding university and along with the UGC, and we will make sure the credits are transferred properly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your nice clarification. Sir, due to the lack of time, we are ending the question and answer session.
Sure.
Thank you so much, sir, for your excellent presentation. It was interesting, thought-provoking, and we learned many things from your lecture, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
You are welcome.
Dear participants, due to the lack of time, we are ending the question and answer session. You can contact Dr. Balaji, sir. We can provide Balaji sir's mail ID in the chat box. Thank you. We are coming to the ending session. So I request Mr. Pradeep Kumar to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Praveen Kumar, sir. Good evening, one and all. I dream it is a great honor to privilege vote of thanks on this memorable vacation. First, we want to express our gratitude to our chief guest and resource person, Dr. Balaji, sir, from Jawaharlal Nehru University, for your really enlightened with your knowledge and your innovative, informative presentation. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us, sir. Thank you. And we would like to thank Dr. Jagan Mohan Reddy, sir, Head Department of Chemistry from Adikavi Nana University, Rajamahendravaram, for your great supporting and very informative presentation, sir. Thank you. A warm thanks goes to our chairperson, Principal Mr. Matthew Father, for your great continuous supporting and commitment to work and its executions. I sincere thank goes to our convener, Vice Principal Father Vineet and Mr. Praveen Kumar sir, and today coordinator Mr. Ashwini ma'am. Behind this successful program lives our committed faculty. I thank Mr. Shekhar Babu and Mr. Ramesh. I will like to thank Mr. Ganesh and its team for your technical support. Finally, our special thank goes to our participants. The success of every program for your support. We are really enlightened lucky to get your unconditional support. Thank you, one and all. We are looking forward to same in future also. Thank you all for making this program has a great success. Thank you, one and all. Thank you for giving me this great opportunity. Thank you, sir. Over to Praveen Kumar, sir.
Thank you, sir. Dear participants, we have sent feedback form in the chat box and also in WhatsApp group. Please fill the feedback form. We will provide e-certificates within 1 week. Once again, thank you so much. Now we are ending the session. Once again, I invite you all to join with our college anthem. Thank you.
ज्ञान विचक्षण वरदे दीपो विद्या वसदे क्రైస్తవ శాస్త్ర విశారద విభవే నిస్తుల సేవన నిరతే వచన సుమంగళ ప్రసరణ సుషమే సుభగ సుశీతల నిలయే జనగణ పరిచరణోద్యతమాదే సులలిత మానస భరిదే జ్ఞానోచిత పరిపావన చరిదే జ్ఞానధనా ಜನಾರ್ದನವಿದೆ ದೀನ ಜನಾವನ ಶೀಲನ ಗುಣದೇ ಮಾನವ ಮುಕ್ತಿದ ಶರಣೆ ಕನ್ಯಾನಂದನ ವಂದನ ನಿರದೆ ಧನ್ಯ ಕುಸಿದ ಮುತಿದೆ ಜಯ ಜಯ ವಿನ್ಸನ್ ದೀಪೋರ್ತನೆಯೇ ಜಯ ಪರ ವಿದ್ಯಾ ವಸದೆ ಜಯ ದೇ ಜಯ ದೇ ಜಯ ದೇ ಜಯ ದೇ ಜಯ ಪರ ವಿದ್ಯಾ ವಸದೆ.
So thank you, Jagan Mohan Reddy garu.
Sir, thank you. Thank you for your
Thank you, Praveen.
presentation.
Okay,
And
thank you.
support
Thank you, sir.
and guide our all affiliated college
So
faculty
I hope it
members
was
and
useful to all the people.
Yes, yes, yes. That's why I asked you, I requested you to go through our affiliated college students, and all teachers also.
ఎండ్ చేసాం మరి మీటింగ్ ఎండ్ అవ్వలేదు కదా.
So can we
Okay,
log
Praveen.
out now?
Praveen, we can
Sir, sir,
log
sir.
out.
Sir, thank you so much, sir.
Okay. you're
Okay,
welcome.
okay. We will meet again. Thank you very
Sure,
much.
sir. Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Balaji, sir.